Who the hell are you?
I'm sorry. I didn't see anything, I promise.
I walked in on the most feared Mafia boss naked. Towel dropped, he didn't yell. Didn't cover himself. Just locked those ice blue eyes on me like I was already dead. Water dripping down, tattooed skin covered in what looked like tombstones. That Italian accent wrapping around one question like a noose. Who the hell are you? I should have run. Instead I stood there staring, my brain completely short-circuiting until I asked you a question. I'm so sorry. The interview, waitress interview. All the doors looked the same. I bolted. Slammed into the doorframe. Pain exploded. Stars danced. Then strong, very warm, very naked hands caught my shoulders. Don't move. You're bleeding. I wrenched myself free and ran. Heart hammering, face burning, the image of his tattooed chest seared into my brain forever. Hit that subscribe button and watch what happens next because it gets worse. By the time I found the actual dining room, I was a disaster. The mansion's dining room was filled with 12 other women from the placement agency, all dressed in crisp black and white server uniforms, all looking far more professional than I felt in my wrinkled white button-up and borrowed interview skirt that was definitely too tight. I hadn't even been hired yet. And the man whose everything I'd just seen was about to walk through that door. Where have you been, Miss Jackson? Mrs. Caruso, the stern placement supervisor, hissed at me. Mr. Serrano will be here any moment to make his selection. I got lost, I said weakly, taking my place at the end of the line and praying to every ancestor I had that Mr. Serrano was not the man whose... Please, please, please let there be multiple men in this mansion. Footsteps echoed in the hallway, confident, measured, deliberate. Like a man who'd never hurried for anything in his life because everything waited for him. Every woman in the room straightened their posture. A man walked in wearing an expensive black suit, his dark hair still slightly damp, his face carved from marble and completely, devastatingly, horrifyingly familiar. I wanted to evaporate. Mr. Serrano's eyes swept over the line of women, cold and assessing as a butcher evaluating meat, then stopped dead when he reached me at the end. His eyebrow raised slightly. I tried to become invisible through sheer force of will. Mr. Serrano, Mrs. Caruso said with an oily smile that made my skin crawl, these are our finest candidates. All experienced, all vetted, all. Her Mr. Serrano interrupted, pointing directly at me with one elegant finger. I want her. The room went silent. You could have heard a pin drop on that marble floor. I'm sorry. Mrs. Caruso said, clearly confused and probably insulted. Miss Jackson is actually our newest recruit. She has the least experience of anyone here. I don't care, Mr. Serrano said, those ice blue eyes locked on mine like I was a butterfly he'd just pinned to a board. He's the one I want. The rest of you can leave. The other women started whispering, shooting me looks ranging from jealous to confused to straight up pitying, like I just won a prize nobody wanted. But sir, Mrs. Caruso tried again, her professional smile cracking. Perhaps if you interviewed a few others first. I said leave. Mr. Serrano's voice dropped to a tone that made everyone in the room flinch. Including me. Mrs. Caruso ushered the others out quickly, but not before shooting me a look that clearly said don't you dare mess this up. The door closed, leaving me alone with the man I'd just seen naked. So, Mr. Serrano said, moving closer with his hands sliding into his pockets like he had all the time in the world. Want to explain what you were really doing in my bedroom? I told you, I said, backing up until I hit the wall. I got lost. Bullshit. He said it so calmly like he was commenting on the weather. This mansion has 23 rooms. You somehow found the one room that was occupied. Coincidence. Coincidence, he repeated like he was tasting the word and finding it disgusting. You didn't knock. I thought it was a bathroom. And when you realized it wasn't, he said, still moving closer until I could smell his cologne, bergamot and leather and something darker like gunpowder, you stayed. And stared. My face burned. I was in shock. For how long? I don't know, a few seconds. 28 seconds, Mr. Serrano said, and was that amusement flickering in those cold eyes? I counted. Oh my God. You have excellent attention to detail, he continued. For a waitress. I'm leaving, I announced, heading for the door because this job was absolutely not worth. The job pays $15,000 a month. I stopped dead. My rent was $800. Mama's medical bills were $68,000 and climbing. Imani's senior year fees were due next week. Dollars, he clarified, reading my mind. Plus room and board. You'd live here. Private suite. Full benefits. Health insurance that would cover your mother's treatments. My world tilted. How did he know about Mama? Why me? I asked, turning back to face him, suspicion warring with desperate hope. Why not one of the experienced ones? Because you're interesting, Mr. Serrano said simply, like that explained everything. Because you walked into my bedroom, saw me naked, and your first instinct was to run instead of trying to seduce me or take photos to sell to tabloids. Because you looked me in the eye without fear, even though you were clearly terrified. I wasn't terrified. Your hands were shaking, he said. They still are. I shoved my hands behind my back, hating that he was right. So here's the deal, Mr. Serrano continued, moving even closer until I was trapped between him and the wall, until I could see the water still beating on his collarbone. You work for me. You serve at my private events. You follow my instructions. You don't steal. You don't gossip. You don't walk into my bedroom uninvited again. And most importantly, you don't ask questions about my business. What if I need to clean your bedroom? I heard myself ask. Then you knock, Mr. Serrano said, his voice dropping lower. And you wait for permission. Understood? Understood, I agreed. Then a horrible thought occurred. Wait, am I the only server? You're the only staff who lives here, Mr. Serrano confirmed. I have security, but they're external. It'll be just us in the house most nights. Every alarm bell in my head started ringing. That's not appropriate. You'll have your own wing, Mr. Serrano interrupted. Completely separate from mine. Unless you're worried you can't control yourself after what you saw today. I can control myself perfectly fine, I snapped. Good, Mr. Serrano said, his lips twitching like he was fighting a smile. Because I'd hate to have to fire you for sexual harassment on your first day. I didn't harass you. You stared for 28 seconds, Mr. Serrano reminded me. That's the legal definition of harassment. You were naked. And you stayed and watched the show, he countered. Do you want the job or not, Miss Jackson? I thought about Mama in that hospital bed, tubes everywhere, asking me if I was eating enough. About Imani's college applications sitting incomplete because we couldn't afford the fees. About our apartment with the leaking ceiling and the landlord who'd started leaving eviction notices. I want the job, I said through gritted teeth. Excellent, Mr. Serrano said, extending his hand. Welcome to my home, Miss Jackson. Try not to walk in on me again. I shook his hand, his grip warm and firm and sending an unwanted jolt straight through me, and tried to ignore the way my pulse jumped at the contact. I'll show you to your room, he said, already heading for the stairs. I followed, my mind spinning, wondering what the hell I just agreed to. My room was bigger than our entire apartment. King-sized bed with silk sheets. Walk-in closet. Bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people and marble everything. Windows overlooking gardens I didn't even know existed in the city. Your uniform is in the closet, Mr. Serrano said from the doorway, not coming in. Standard server attire. Black and white. You start tomorrow at 6 a.m. What time do you wake up? I asked. 5, he replied. I work out, shower, then breakfast at 7. You'll prepare it. I'm not a cook. You have a culinary arts degree, Mr. Serrano said. You'll figure it out. My head snapped up. How do you know I have a degree? I know everything about everyone who enters my house, Mr. Serrano said simply, like that wasn't the creepiest thing I'd ever heard. Culinary arts degree from Johnson and Wales. Dropped out sophomore year when your mother was diagnosed. Breast cancer stage 3. You've been working 3 jobs to pay her medical bills. Younger sister Imani, 17, senior at King High School. You need money fast. Am I wrong? My throat tightened. Every word he said was true, and hearing my entire desperate life laid out like that, like I was just data he'd collected, made me feel more naked than he'd been in that bathroom. No, I whispered. You're not wrong. Then we understand each other, Mr. Serrano said. You need this job. I need someone competent who won't try to steal from me or sell stories about me to the press. We both benefit. Why are you really hiring me? I asked, finding some backbone I didn't know I had left. The truth this time. Mr. Serrano studied me for a long moment, those ice blue eyes seeing right through every wall I'd ever built. Because when you saw me naked, he said finally, you looked embarrassed, not calculating. Because you ran instead of taking advantage. Because in my world, Miss Jackson, that kind of honesty is rarer than diamonds. And far more valuable. What is your world exactly? I asked. Mrs. Caruso was very vague about what kind of business you're in. The kind that pays $15,000 a month, Mr. Serrano replied, his expression going cold again. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, Miss Jackson. He turned to leave. Sleep well, he said from the doorway. Tomorrow starts early. And Miss Jackson. Yes. If you try to run, he said quietly, I'll find you. Not because I'm cruel, but because you signed a contract the moment you shook my hand. And I always collect what's owed to me. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like a prison lock. I collapsed on the bed, the softest bed I'd ever touched in my life, and pulled out my phone. 3 missed calls from Imani. A text, how did the interview go? I typed back, I got the job. I also accidentally saw my boss naked. Don't ask. 3 dots appeared then. What? I tossed my phone aside and groaned into the pillow that probably cost more than my monthly rent. This was either the best decision or the worst mistake of my entire life. And I had a terrible, terrible feeling I was about to find out which. But at least Mama would get her treatments. At least Imani could finish high school without worrying. At least I could breathe for 5 seconds without drowning in debt. Even if the price was living with a man who looked at me like he'd already decided I belonged to him. A man whose eyes were cold as winter. Whose smile was dangerous as a blade. Who knew everything about me. And who I'd seen completely, devastatingly naked. God help me. I woke up to silk sheets and complete disorientation. For a second I thought I'd died and gone to some bougie heaven. Then I remembered. The bathroom, the naked man, the job I'd somehow gotten despite seeing my boss's entire naked body. Oh God. My phone said 5:47 a.m. I had 13 minutes to get downstairs and figure out how to make breakfast for a man who probably ate gold flakes for cereal. I threw on the uniform I'd found in the closet last night. Black pencil skirt, crisp white blouse that actually fit perfectly, which was somehow more creepy than flattering. He knew my measurements. He knew everything. The kitchen was massive. Marble countertops, professional-grade appliances, a wine fridge that probably cost more than my college tuition. I opened the refrigerator and found it fully stocked. Eggs, Italian cheeses, fresh herbs, pancetta, cream. I could work with this. I was whisking eggs when I heard footsteps behind me. I didn't turn around. Didn't need to. The air changed when he entered a room, like all the oxygen got sucked out and replaced with something heavier. You're early, Mikhail said. So are you, I replied, still whisking. I thought you worked out first. I did. His voice was closer now. You slept in my shirt. I froze. Looked down. The oversized t-shirt I'd found on the bathroom counter last night. I'd thought it was a sleep shirt left for me. But the scent. That bergamot and leather scent. I didn't know. There were no pajamas in the closet. I didn't say I minded. He was right behind me now. Close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off his skin. It looks better on you anyway. I poured the eggs into the pan, focusing on the sizzle, the ritual of cooking. Not on the man standing too close. Not on the fact that I was wearing his shirt and apparently he liked it. Frittata, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. With pancetta, parmesan and fresh basil. Should be ready in 10 minutes. You cook when you're nervous, Mikhail observed. Interesting. I cook because it's my job. No, Bella. He reached around me, turned off the burner I hadn't been using. His arm brushed mine. Your job is to serve at my events. This, he gestured at the frittata, this is you trying not to think about yesterday. I turned to face him, big mistake. He was shirtless. Water droplets still clinging to his chest from the shower, those tattoos on full display in the morning light, roses wrapped around Roman numerals XEI, a skull with a crown, dates that looked like death certificates. Do you own shirts? I asked. Many. He smiled, slow and dangerous. I just don't see the point of wearing them when you've already seen everything. My face burned. That was an accident. Was it? Mikhail moved closer, caging me against the counter. Because I've been thinking about it all night. About the way you looked at me. About how long you stared before you ran. 28 seconds wasn't that long. It was long enough. His voice dropped lower. Long enough for me to see that you wanted to stay longer. That you only ran because you were scared of what you felt. I felt embarrassed, I lied. You felt curious. His hand came up, fingers tracing my jaw. You felt hungry. You felt alive for the first time in years because you spend so much time taking care of everyone else that you forgot what it feels like to want something for yourself. I couldn't breathe. You don't know me. I know everything about you, Chantel. The way he said my name, like a prayer and a threat. I know you haven't been on a date in 3 years. I know you work yourself to exhaustion so you don't have to feel how lonely you are. I know you dream about the life you could have had if your mother hadn't gotten sick. Tears burned behind my eyes. Stop. I know you lie awake at night wondering if this is all there is. Bills and hospital visits and putting everyone else first until there's nothing left of you. Stop it. And I know, his thumb brushed my bottom lip, that when you saw me yesterday you didn't just see a naked man. You saw freedom. You saw danger. You saw something you've never let yourself want before. I shoved him away, my hands shaking. The frittata's burning. It wasn't. But I turned back to the stove anyway, blinking back tears I refused to let him see. I transferred $50,000 to your account this morning, Mikhail said, his voice back to that calm, businesslike tone. For your mother's treatments. Consider it an advance on your salary. I spun around. What? Your mother needs surgery. The hospital won't schedule it until you pay the outstanding balance. Now you can pay it. He pulled a black t-shirt over his head, covering those tattoos. You're welcome. I didn't ask you. You didn't have to ask. He sat at the kitchen island watching me. I take care of what's mine, Chantel. And you're mine now. So your problems are my problems. I'm not yours, I said, plating his breakfast with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. I'm your employee. Keep telling yourself that, Bella. He took a bite of the frittata, his eyes closing briefly. Perfect. My mother used to make it exactly like this. The compliment shouldn't have made me feel warm inside. But it did. Tell me about her, I heard myself say. Your mother. Michael's expression went dark. She died when I was 12. Poisoned by a rival family. They put it in her wine. A 1982 Barolo, her favorite. She died in my father's arms, choking on her own blood. He took another bite, chewing slowly. I watched the whole thing. Couldn't do anything to stop it. That's when I learned that love makes you weak. That caring about people gives your enemies ammunition. That's horrible, I whispered. That's life in my world. He stood, bringing his plate to the sink. Which is why you need to understand something, Chantel. I didn't hire you just because you're competent or honest. I hired you because 8 months ago I saw you at the Rossi Foundation Gala. You were serving champagne to people who looked right through you like you were invisible. But you smiled anyway. You had grace and dignity despite working 3 jobs and drowning in debt. You were the most beautiful thing in that room. And the saddest. He pulled out his phone, showed me a photo. Me in a server uniform, professionally smiling, looking exhausted. That's when I decided you were going to be mine, Mikhail said. I've been watching you ever since. I know your schedule, your routes to work, the coffee shop you go to every Thursday morning even though you can't afford it. I know everything, Bella. And I orchestrated this entire interview so you would walk through that door yesterday. My blood ran cold. You planned this. Every second of it. He moved closer. Including leaving that door unlocked. Including standing in that shower at exactly the time you'd be looking for the interview room. Including making sure you saw me. Why? My voice came out as a whisper. Because I wanted to see how you'd react. If you'd try to use it against me or if you'd run. And you ran exactly like I knew you would. Proving you're exactly what I thought. Honest, innocent, incorruptible. His hand cupped my face. Which is why you're perfect for me. Because I'm going to corrupt you, Chantel. Slowly. Carefully. Until you can't imagine life without me. Until you choose to stay even when I give you every opportunity to leave. You're insane. I'm obsessed, he corrected. There's a difference. Now your sister Imani, her college fund is fully paid. For years, room and board at any university she wants. As long as you stay and do exactly what I say. I jerked away from his touch. You're using my sister to control me? I'm taking care of your family so you don't have to worry about them anymore. So you can focus on me. He smiled. See the difference? That's blackmail. That's generosity. He headed for the door then stopped. Oh, and Chantel? Tonight I'm hosting a private dinner. 8 guests. You'll serve. Wear the black dress in your closet. The one that shows your back. I want them to see what belongs to me. I don't belong to you. Mikhail turned back, his eyes going dark. In 3 strides he was in front of me, backing me against the counter again. His hand wrapped around my throat, not choking, just holding, possessive. Say that again, he whispered. Say you don't belong to me while your pulse is racing under my fingers. While you're breathing faster. While your body is telling me the exact opposite of what your mouth is saying. I couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. That's what I thought. He released me, stepping back. Dinner's at 8. Don't be late. He left. And I slid down the cabinet to the floor, my whole body shaking. What the hell had I gotten myself into? My phone buzzed. A text from Imani. OMG sis. The hospital called. They scheduled Mama's surgery. How did you pay it? I stared at the message, tears streaming down my face. He'd bought my compliance with my family's future. And the worst part? I was going to stay. Because what choice did I have? The black dress was obscene. Backless, exactly like Mikhail said. Hugging every curve, ending mid-thigh. The kind of dress that screamed, look at me, when all I wanted was to be invisible. I tried to find something else in the massive closet he'd filled with my exact size. Everything was either too revealing or too expensive looking, or both. This was the most conservative option, which told me everything about what he expected. I was his pretty possession. His trophy. Something to show off to his guests. The dining room was set for 9. Crystal glasses, china that probably cost more than my car, candles everywhere. I'd spent the afternoon preparing the meal he'd requested. Osso buco, risotto Milanese, roasted vegetables, tiramisu for dessert. At 7:45, I heard cars pulling up the driveway. At 7:58, Mikhail appeared in the kitchen doorway, wearing a black suit that probably cost more than I'd make in a year. His eyes raked over me, slow and possessive. Perfect, he said. Come here. I didn't move. I need to start plating the first course. I said, come here, Chantel. The way he said my name, like a command wrapped in velvet. I walked over, my heels clicking on the marble floor. Mikhail pulled a necklace from his pocket. Diamonds and sapphires, delicate and clearly worth more than my mother's medical debt. Turn around. I can't accept. You're not accepting. You're wearing. He fastened it around my neck, his fingers lingering on my skin. Everything you wear, everything you touch, everything you are in this house belongs to me. Remember that. The doorbell rang. Smile, Bella, Mikhail whispered against my ear. Show them how beautiful you are when you're pretending not to hate me. The guests were exactly what I expected. Rich, powerful, dangerous. 3 couples and 2 single men, all Italian, all speaking in rapid-fire conversations I could barely follow. They looked at me the way you'd look at a painting in a museum. Beautiful but untouchable. Except they could touch. And they knew it. Mikhail, one of the men said, his eyes sliding over me. You didn't mention you had new staff. Very beautiful. Where did you find her? She found me, Mikhail replied, his hand possessive on my lower back. Chantal, bring the antipasti. I served silently, professionally, trying to ignore the way their eyes followed me. The way they spoke about me in Italian, assuming I didn't understand. But I did. My mother had taught me before she got sick. Enough to catch words like pretty, young, his type. And one phrase that made my blood run cold. How long before he gets bored? I was pouring wine when one of the men grabbed my wrist. You have beautiful hands, he said in accented English. Mikhail always had excellent taste in his acquisitions. Acquisitions. Like I was a painting. A car. A thing. Thank you, sir, I said, trying to pull away. His grip tightened. Tell me, Bella, how much did he pay for you? The room went silent. Michael's voice cut through the tension like a knife. Luca, let her go. I was just admiring your new pet. Let her go. Each word sharper than the last. Luca released me, laughing. Relax, cousin. I meant no disrespect. Although I must say this one seems different from your usual type. She has innocence. How refreshing. I fled to the kitchen, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the serving tray. Mikhail appeared behind me seconds later. You okay? No, I said. That man, your cousin, he treated me like property. I know. Mikhail turned me around, his hands on my shoulders. And I'm sorry. Luca forgets his manners when he drinks. It won't happen again. Why am I really here, Mikhail? Why did you hire me if you knew your world would be like this? Because you're strong enough to handle it. His thumb traced my cheek. Because everyone else in my life is corrupted already. But you're still pure. Still fighting. Still believing that good exists in this world. And he stopped, his jaw clenching. You what? I need that, he admitted quietly. I need someone who looks at me and sees a man, not a monster. Someone who doesn't fear me yet. Someone I haven't destroyed. Yet, I repeated. You said yet. Because I will destroy you, Chantel. It's what I do. I corrupt everything I touch. But at least I'm honest about it. He stepped back. Serve dessert. Then you're done for the night. I made it through dessert. Made it through their leering eyes and inappropriate comments and the way they talked about me like I wasn't even there. When the last guest left, I started cleaning up. Mikhail stopped me. Leave it. The cleaning service comes tomorrow. I don't mind. I said leave it. He poured himself whiskey, his movements tight with tension. Come sit with me. I should go to my room. Chantel. He looked at me and for the first time I saw something other than possession in his eyes. Something vulnerable. Please. Just sit with me for 5 minutes. I need to look at something beautiful that isn't covered in blood. That's when I noticed his knuckles. Bruised and bleeding. What happened? Luca learned what happens when you touch what's mine without permission. He took a drink. I broke his fingers. All of them on his right hand. My uncle is going to be very angry with me tomorrow. I should have been horrified. Should have run. Instead, I found myself getting the first aid kit from under the sink. Let me see, I said, sitting beside him. Mikhail held out his hand, watching me with those intense blue eyes as I cleaned the blood away, applied antiseptic, wrapped his knuckles. You're not afraid of me, he observed. I'm terrified of you, I corrected. But someone needs to clean this before it gets infected. My mother used to do this. After my father would. He stopped. After. I didn't push. Just finished wrapping his hand. Thank you, he said quietly. We sat in silence, the only sound the ticking of an antique clock somewhere in the house. I shouldn't have brought you into this world, Mikhail said finally. You deserve better than being paraded around like a trophy. Better than men like Luca looking at you like you're for sale. Then why did you? Because I'm selfish. He turned to face me. Because 8 months ago I saw you smile despite everything falling apart in your life and I wanted that smile for myself. I wanted someone who could look at this. He gestured at the mansion, the wealth, the evidence of his power, and see past it to the man underneath. But there is no man underneath, Chantel. There's just the monster pretending to be human. I don't believe that. You should. He stood, pulling me up with him. You should run while you still can. Before I make you care. Before I make you need me the way I'm starting to need you. Starting to. I whispered. I haven't stopped thinking about you since the moment you walked into that bathroom. The way you looked at me. The way you ran. The way you're looking at me right now like you're trying to decide if I'm worth saving. He cupped my face. I'm not Bella. I'm not worth saving. But I'm going to keep you anyway. I'm going to be selfish and keep you here until you can't imagine leaving. Until you choose this life. Choose me. What if I never choose it? Then I'll let you go. His thumb brushed my lips. Eventually. After I've had enough of you. After I've memorized every expression, every sound, every way you try to hide how much you want me to. I don't want you. Liar. He leaned closer, his breath warm against my mouth. Your pupils dilate when I get close. Your breathing changes. Your pulse races. You want me, Chantel. You just don't want me. He was right. God help me, he was right. Go to bed, Mikhail said, stepping back. Before I do something we'll both regret. I went. But I could feel his eyes on me the whole way up the stairs. And when I got to my room I found something on my nightstand that made my breath catch. Sommelier certification course materials. Enrollment confirmation for next month's exam at the International Wine Center. The dream I'd given up. The certification I couldn't afford. He was giving it to me. And I hated how much that made me want to stay. 2 weeks passed in a blur of private dinners and too close moments and Mikhail constantly orbiting me like I was the sun and he couldn't help being pulled into my gravity. 2 weeks of him cooking me breakfast. Of him asking about my day. Of him slowly, carefully, methodically making me forget that I was supposed to be his employee. And then I heard the screaming. Came from below, from somewhere deep in the house. Guttural, terrified, begging. I should have stayed in my room. I should have put on headphones and pretended I heard nothing. Instead, I followed the sound down to the wine cellar. The door was unlocked. He'd left it unlocked. He wanted me to see. The man was tied to a chair in the middle of Michael's priceless wine collection, blood dripping onto concrete floors. Mikhail stood in front of him, calm and methodical, asking questions in Italian. Please, the man sobbed. Please, I have a family. So did the people you sold out to the Baldinis, Mikhail said, his voice flat. Did you think about their families when you gave them our shipping routes? When you told them where my warehouses are? I didn't have a choice. They threatened my daughter. And now I'm threatening you. Mikhail pulled out a gun. Last chance. Who else is working with them? That's when he saw me. Our eyes met across the cellar. His expression didn't change, but something flickered in those blue eyes. Yes. A challenge. Are you ready to see who I really am? I should have run. Should have screamed. Instead, I stood frozen as Mikhail turned back to the man and pulled the trigger. The sound echoed off the wine bottles. The man's head snapped back. Blood sprayed across a 1947 Chateau d'Yquem. My mother's favorite. I ran. Made it to the bathroom. Vomited until there was nothing left. Mikhail found me on the floor, shaking. You left the door unlocked, I gasped. You wanted me to see. Yes. Why? Because you needed to know what I am. He knelt beside me, pulled my hair back. You needed to see the monster before you started caring about the man. You're a murderer. Yes. You killed him without even blinking. He betrayed me. Betrayed my family. Got 3 of my men killed last month because he sold information to our enemies. So yes, I killed him. And I'd do it again. Mikhail tilted my face up. Are you going to run now? Going to call the police? Going to testify against me? I should have said yes. Should have demanded he let me go. Instead, I heard myself ask, did he really get your men killed? Yes. 3 good men. One had a wife and 2 kids. Another was engaged. The third was my cousin's best friend. Michael's voice was cold. He sold them out for $50,000. So I made sure he understood the consequences. By killing him. By making an example. In my world, Chantal, betrayal has one punishment. If I let him live, it shows weakness. And weakness gets more people killed. That's horrible. That's survival. He helped me stand. This is my world, Bella. Violence and blood and making impossible choices. And you're part of it now, whether you want to be or not. So you need to decide, can you live with what I am? Or do you want me to let you go? I looked at him. Really looked. At the blood on his hands. At the coldness in his eyes. At the monster he was showing me. And underneath it all, I saw the 12-year-old boy who'd watched his mother die. Who'd learned that love made you weak. That caring got people killed. He really betrayed you, I said. Not a question. I don't lie to you, Chantal. I never will. Would you kill me if I betrayed you? No. His answer was immediate. I'd lock you up. Keep you prisoner. Make sure you could never leave me. But I could never hurt you. That's my weakness. You just told me weakness gets people killed. Exactly. He brushed tears off my face I hadn't realized were falling. You're going to get me killed someday, Bella. Because I'm already putting you above everything else. Above family, above business, above my own survival. And in my world, that's suicide. I should have walked away. Should have demanded he take me home. Instead, I found myself back in that wine cellar an hour later, helping him clean blood off a bottle of wine. You don't have to do this, Mikhail said. I know. Then why are you? Because somewhere in the last 2 weeks I'd started to see him. Not the monster. Not the killer. But the man who cooked me breakfast and asked about my day and looked at me like I was the only real thing in his fake world. Because someone needs to make sure you don't ruin the 1947 Chateau d'Yquem, I said. That bottle is worth more than my mother's medical debt. Mikhail laughed. Actually laughed. You're insane. Says the man who kills people in his wine cellar. Fair point. He took the bottle from me, examined it. This was my mother's favorite. She always said it tasted like sunshine and heartbreak. That's beautiful. She was beautiful. Before, he stopped. Set the bottle down. She would have liked you. You have her grace. We cleaned in silence. And when we were done, when every trace of blood was gone, Mikhail opened that bottle of Chateau d'Yquem. We shouldn't, I started. We should. He poured 2 glasses. Because you just saw me kill a man and you didn't run. That deserves something special. The wine was incredible. Complex and layered and exactly like he said, sunshine and heartbreak in a glass. I'm not as horrified as I should be, I admitted. I know. That scares me. Good. You should be scared. He moved closer. Because you're starting to understand my world. Starting to see that sometimes violence is the only language people understand. And once you cross that line, once you accept it, there's no going back. I haven't accepted anything. You're drinking wine in a cellar where I just committed murder, Chantel. He helped me clean the blood. You're still here. His hand found my face. You've already crossed the line. You just don't want to admit it yet. He was right. God, he was right. And the worst part? I didn't hate him for it. I should have. But I didn't. I'd been living in Michael's mansion for exactly 33 days when everything changed. 33 days of playing house with a killer. 33 days of pretending his world wasn't becoming mine. 33 days of lying to Imani about where I was, what I was doing, who I was becoming. He'd started letting me leave the house. Supervised trips to the farmer's market with 2 guards who looked like they could bench press a car. Baby steps toward freedom that felt more like a longer leash. I was selecting tomatoes when it happened. One second I was comparing heirloom varieties. The next, a cloth was over my mouth. Everything went dark and I was being dragged into a van. I woke up in a warehouse, zip-tied to a chair, my head pounding. 3 men stood in front of me. The one in the middle smiled, and it was worse than Michael's cold stares. The smile was cruel. Well, well, he said in Italian accented English. Michael's little Moretta. You're even prettier up close. Who are you? Enzo Baldini. And you, Bella, are my insurance policy. He pulled out a phone, started recording. Smile for the camera. Let's show Mikkel what happens when he kills my men. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? Didn't he tell you about the traitor he killed in his wine cellar 3 weeks ago? That was my inside man. Cost me a very profitable deal. So now I'm going to cost him something precious. Enzo touched my face and I jerked away. Or maybe I'll keep you instead. Break you in properly. Mikkel never did know how to handle beautiful things. Fear turned my blood to ice. This was real. This wasn't Michael's controlled violence. This was chaos. Cruelty for its own sake. He'll kill you, I said. He'll try. Enzo grabbed my jaw, forced me to look at the camera. Tell him, Bella. Tell him you're mine now unless he gives me back what he took. I spit in his face. Enzo's expression went dark. His fist connected with my cheekbone and everything went white with pain. Wrong answer, he said. The next hour was a blur of questions and pain and me refusing to give them anything. I'd seen what Mikkel did to traitors. I wouldn't become one. Even if it killed me. Then I heard it. Gunfire. Shouting. Men screaming. The door exploded inward. Mikkel stood in the doorway, covered in blood that wasn't his, holding a gun in each hand, looking like an avenging angel straight from hell. His eyes found mine. Something in his expression broke. Then he moved. I'd never seen him like this. The cold, controlled man I knew was gone. This was pure rage. Pure violence. He killed the first guard with a headshot. The second with 2 to the chest. Enzo pulled a knife, held it to my throat. One more step and she dies, Enzo said. Mikkel stopped. Lowered his guns. Let her go, Enzo. This is between us. It became about her the moment you made her yours. The knife pressed harder. I felt blood trickle down my neck. You cost me 50 million. I'm going to cost you everything. Please, Mikkel said, and I'd never heard that word from him before. Never heard him beg. Please, Enzo. Take the territory. Take the shipments. Take whatever you want. Just let her go. No. Enzo smiled. I want to watch you suffer first. Everything happened fast. Mikkel threw one of his guns. Enzo flinched. The knife moved an inch away from my throat. Mikkel fired. Enzo's head snapped back. He dropped. Then Mikkel was there, cutting the zip ties with shaking hands, checking me for injuries, touching my face so gently it made me want to cry. You're hurt, he said, his voice breaking. You're bleeding. He hurt you. I'm going to. I'm okay, I whispered. You're not okay. You're bleeding. Your face. His hands were shaking. Michael's hands never shook. I thought I lost you. When I got the ransom video, when I saw him touching you, I thought. He pulled me against his chest, his whole body trembling. I thought I lost you, he repeated. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I needed to get to you. I would have burned down this entire city to get to you. You came, I said stupidly. You came for me. Always. He pulled back, cupped my bruised face. I will always come for you, Chantel. If someone takes you, I will find you. If someone hurts you, I will destroy them. If you're in danger, I will walk through hell itself to bring you home. Why? Because you're mine. He kissed my forehead, my bruised cheekbone, so gentle despite the violence still dripping from his hands. Because somewhere in the last month you stopped being my employee and started being my everything. And I know that's insane. I know I shouldn't feel this way. But I do. God help me, I do. I should have been terrified. Should have seen this for what it was. Obsession, possession, a dangerous man claiming ownership. Instead, I heard myself say, I don't want to leave. Mikhail went still. What? I don't want to leave anymore. I should want to. After everything I've seen, everything you are, I should want to run far away from you. But I don't. Tears were falling and I couldn't stop them. I don't want to leave, Mikhail. I don't know what that makes me. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I don't want to go. He kissed me. Desperate and messy and tasting like blood and violence and relief. I kissed him back like I'd been waiting my whole life for this. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, Mikhail pressed his forehead to mine. I need to get you home, he said. I need to get you safe. Then I need to hold you until I stop shaking. Okay. He carried me to the car. Wouldn't let anyone else touch me. His soldiers followed, silent and efficient, cleaning up the mess. In the car, Mikhail kept one hand on me the whole drive, like he was afraid I'd disappear. I should have protected you better, he said. I should have sent more guards. I should have. You saved me. I almost lost you. But you didn't. I took his hand, the one that was shaking. You came for me. You saved me. I killed 6 men to get to you, Mikhail said. And I'd kill 600 more. Does that scare you? It should. But does it? I thought about Enzo's knife at my throat. About the way Mikhail had begged for my life. About the relief in his eyes when he found me. No, I whispered. It doesn't scare me. It makes me feel safe. Is that wrong? Probably. He pulled me closer. But I don't care. You're safe. You're mine. That's all that matters. When we got to the mansion, he carried me upstairs to his bedroom. Not mine. His. Stay with me tonight, he said, setting me on his bed. Please. I need to know you're safe. Okay. He treated my wounds himself. Gentle hands cleaning blood, checking for injuries, his jaw tight with suppressed rage every time he found a new bruise. I'm going to kill everyone in the Baldini family, he said conversationally. Every single one. For touching you. Mikhail. I know it's extreme. I know it's going to start a war. But I don't care, Chantel. They hurt you. They made you bleed. And I'm going to make sure they understand what happens when you touch what's mine. He finished bandaging my wrist, then pulled me against his chest. We lay there in silence, his heart beat loud against my ear. I was glad when you came, I admitted quietly. When I heard the gunshots, when I saw you, I was glad. I wanted you to save me. I was waiting for you. I know. His arms tightened around me. I could see it in your eyes. What does that make me? Mine, he said simply. It makes you mine. And for the first time since this whole insane situation started, I didn't argue. I woke up wrapped around Mikhail like a vine. My head on his chest. My leg thrown over his. His arms locked around me like even in sleep he was afraid I'd disappear. The morning light made his face look softer. Younger. Almost peaceful. Then his eyes opened. Those ice blue eyes that saw everything. You stayed, he said like he'd been expecting to wake up alone. You asked me to. You've never listened to anything I asked before. Maybe I'm starting to. I tried to pull away. His arms tightened. Not yet, Mikhail said. Let me have this for 5 more minutes. Let me pretend this is real. That you're here because you want to be, not because I manipulated you into it. Who says you manipulated me? Didn't I? I orchestrated everything. The interview, the job, making myself indispensable by paying your mother's bills. I planned every step to make you dependent on me. And if I'm choosing to stay anyway? His eyes searched mine. Then you're crazier than I am. Probably. We lay there, neither of us moving, the morning stretching around us. I don't know how to do this, Mikhail admitted. I don't know how to be with someone without owning them. How to love without destroying. Love. My heart stopped. He cupped my face. I'm obsessed with you, Chantal. I think about you constantly. I can't breathe when you're not safe. I would burn down the world to keep you. If that's not love, it's close enough to terrify me. That's not love. That's obsession. I know. But it's the only way I know how to feel. His thumb traced my lips. So I need you to decide. Can you live with a man who will always be too possessive? Too controlling? Too willing to kill for you? Or do I let you go now before I make this worse? Thought about the last month. About the fear and the violence and the luxury. About feeling seen for the first time in years. About being someone's priority instead of someone's burden. I want to renegotiate my contract, I said. Mikhail went still. What do you want? I want to choose to stay. Not because I'm trapped or because you're paying my bills. But because I want to. Why? He didn't believe me. I could see it in his eyes. Because you saw me when I was invisible. Because you protected my sister without being asked. Because you gave me back my dreams. I took a breath. Because you're a killer and a criminal and completely morally bankrupt, but you've never once lied to me. And the word stuck in my throat. You what? I want you, I admitted. Even knowing what you are. Maybe because of it. Maybe I'm damaged too. Maybe I'm tired of being good and getting nothing but pain. Maybe I want to be selfish for once. I don't know. But I want you, Mikhail. And I'm choosing to stay. His eyes went dark. If you do this, Bella, there's no going back. You'll be mine. Truly mine. I won't let you leave. Then don't. He kissed me. Not desperate like yesterday. This was claiming. A promise and a threat. I kissed him back with everything I had. When he pulled back, his forehead pressed to mine, both of us breathing hard. Tell me you understand what you're agreeing to, he said. Tell me you know I'm never letting you go. I understand. Tell me you're choosing this. Choosing me. Choosing my world. I choose this. I choose you. Something in his expression broke. Relief and possession and triumph all at once. Then you're mine, he said. No more contract. No more employer and employee. You're mine, Chantal. Mine to protect. Mine to keep. Mine too. I kissed him before he could finish. What followed was intense and transformative and everything I'd been afraid to want. Afterward, lying in his arms, I waited for regret. It didn't come. I should feel guilty, I said. But you don't. No. Good. He pulled me closer. Because I'm not letting you go now. You're mine, Bella. Forever. That's very dramatic. I'm a dramatic person. He kissed my shoulder. I killed 6 men to get you back yesterday. Dramatic is my baseline. I laughed. Actually laughed. There it is, Mikhail said, smiling against my skin. That smile. The one I saw 8 months ago. The one I decided I needed to own. You can't own a smile. Watch me. We stayed in bed until noon. Talking, touching, pretending the outside world didn't exist. Then Michael's phone rang. His expression changed when he saw the caller. I have to take this, he said, kissing my forehead. FBI. They've been sniffing around my businesses for months. FBI. Don't worry. They have nothing. He got dressed, all business now. Stay here. Rest. I'll handle this. But I could see the tension in his shoulders. The fear he was trying to hide. And I realized, this was my life now. FBI raids and rival families and violence. This was what I'd chosen. And I still didn't want to leave. What did that make me? Next morning I went to his room. Knocked this time. Bernie. Mikhail answered shirtless, his hair still wet from the shower, looking guarded like he hadn't slept at all. We need to talk, I said. Come in. He stepped aside, watching me carefully. I walked into his bedroom, the room where this all started, where I'd seen him naked and run. Felt like a lifetime ago. I want to renegotiate our contract, I said. His jaw tightened. What do you want? I want to choose to stay. Not because I'm trapped. Not because you're paying my bills. Not because I have nowhere else to go. But because I want to. Why? He didn't believe me. I could see it in his eyes. Because you saw me when I was invisible. Because you protected my sister without being asked. Because you gave me back my passion for wine, my dreams for the future. I took a breath. Because you're a killer, yes. But you've never once lied to me. And the word stuck. You what, Chantal? I want you, I admitted. Even knowing what you are. Maybe because of it. Maybe I'm tired of being good and getting nothing but pain. Maybe I want to be selfish for once. I don't know. But I want you, Mikkel. And I'm choosing to stay. His eyes went dark. Dangerous. If you do this, Mia Belezza, there's no going back. You'll be mine. Truly mine. I won't let you leave. Then don't. He crossed the room in 3 strides, cupped my face, searched my eyes for any hint of doubt. Say it again, he demanded. Say you're choosing me. I'm choosing you, Mikkel. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing us. He kissed me like a man who'd been drowning and just found air. I kissed him back like I'd been waiting my whole life for this. When he pulled back, his forehead pressed to mine, both of us breathing hard. Tell me you understand what you're agreeing to, he said, his voice rough. Tell me you know I'm obsessed with you. That I'll always be too possessive, too controlling, too willing to kill for you. I understand. Tell me you're choosing this with your eyes open. Choosing my world. Choosing the darkness. I choose this. I choose you. With my eyes wide open. Something in his expression broke. Relief and triumph and possession all at once. Then you're mine, he whispered. No more contract. No more employer and employee. You're mine, Chantal. Mine to protect. Mine to keep. Mine too. I kissed him before he could finish. What followed was intense and transformative and everything I'd been afraid to want. He let me lead. Let me set the pace. Asked permission at every touch even though we both knew I'd already given it. He worshipped me like I was something sacred he was afraid to break. And I claimed him right back. Afterward, lying tangled together in his bed, I waited for regret. It didn't come. I should feel guilty, I said quietly. I should feel like I've betrayed who I am. But you don't. No. I traced the tattoos on his chest. The roses, the skull, the dates. I feel free. Is that crazy? Probably. His arms tightened around me. But I don't care. You're mine now, Bella. And I'm never letting you go. That's very possessive. I'm a very possessive person. He kissed my shoulder. I told you from the beginning what I am. You did. I smiled against his skin. You've been honest about everything. The violence, the obsession, the fact that you're completely morally bankrupt. And you stayed anyway. I stayed anyway. We lay there as morning light filled the room, neither of us moving, both of us knowing everything had changed. What happens now? I asked. Now. Mikkel pulled me closer. Now I make you breakfast. Now I show you how the wine business really works. The legitimate parts and the parts that aren't so legitimate. Now I make you my partner in everything, not just my bed. Your partner. You have a culinary degree and sommelier certification coming. I have a restaurant empire that needs someone who actually knows wine and food. His fingers traced patterns on my skin. Work with me, Chantal. Build this with me. Be my partner, not my employee. You're serious. I've never been more serious about anything. He turned my face to his. I want you everywhere. In my business, in my bed, in my life. I want to wake up to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. I want to corrupt you completely and watch you bloom in the darkness. You're insane. I'm in love, he corrected. There's a difference. My breath caught. You love me. I'm obsessed with you, Mikkel said. I think about you constantly. I can't breathe when you're not safe. I would burn down the world to keep you. If that's not love, it's close enough to terrify me. Mikkel. You don't have to say it back. I know this is fast. I know I'm overwhelming. I know I'm probably scaring you right now. He kissed my forehead. But I need you to know that this isn't just possession. It's not just obsession. I love you, Chantal. And I'm going to spend every day proving it to you. I looked at this dangerous, beautiful, broken man who'd somehow become my everything. I love you too, I whispered. I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it's healthy or right or sane. But I love you. He kissed me again. Slower this time. Sweeter. Say it again, he demanded against my lips. I love you. Again. I love you, Mikkel Serrano. You terrifying, obsessive, completely insane man. I love you. He rolled me under him, his eyes blazing. You're mine. I'm yours. Forever. Forever, I agreed. And as he made love to me again in the morning light, I realized I meant it. Forever in the darkness. Forever in his world. Forever his. Later that morning I wore his shirt to breakfast. He cooked frittata again the way his mother used to make. I want to show you something, Mikhail said as we ate. He led me down to the wine cellar to a section I hadn't seen before. Behind a hidden door was an office. Computers, monitors, files everywhere. This is the real business, he said. The restaurant is legitimate. But it's also a front for money laundering. The wine we import? Some of it carries other cargo. The high-end clients? Some of them are paying for more than just a meal. He was showing me everything. All his secrets. Why are you telling me this? Because if you're staying, you need to know what you're choosing. You need to see all of it, the empire, the crimes, the danger. You need to know exactly what being mine means. I looked at the files. The evidence of everything illegal he was running. The FBI is investigating, he continued. They've been circling for months. Eventually they'll come with warrants. When they do, you'll be questioned. You'll have a choice, testify against me or protect me. You're testing me. I'm warning you. He cupped my face. I love you. I'm giving you one last chance to walk away before this gets even more dangerous. Before you're in too deep to escape. I thought about it. Really thought about it. About the life I could have if I left right now. Freedom. Safety. A normal future. About the life I'd have if I stayed. Danger. Darkness. But also love and purpose and feeling alive for the first time in years. I'm not leaving, I said. I'm all in, Mikhail. Business partner. Life partner. Everything. His smile was devastating. Then welcome to the empire, Bella. Let's build something beautiful and terrible together. And we did. For the next 3 months I learned the business. The legitimate restaurant operations and the illegal ones. I managed the wine program, created new menus, networked with clients. And slowly, carefully I became his true partner. Not his possession. Not his employee. His equal. But I knew it couldn't last. The FBI was coming. It was only a matter of time. The battering ram hit the door at 5:47 a.m. I jerked awake in Michael's arms. He was already moving, already alert. FBI. Voices shouted. Search warrant. Get dressed, Mikhail said calmly. Don't say anything without a lawyer. They flooded through the mansion like an invasion. Tactical gear, weapons, shouting. Mikhail and I were separated. Different rooms. Different interrogators. Agent Torres sat across from me, her expression almost sympathetic. Miss Jackson, she said gently. I'm going to be honest with you. You're not in trouble yet. But Mikhail Serrano is. And if you don't cooperate, you will be. I want a lawyer. You can have a lawyer. But first, I want you to hear what we have. She slid photos across the table. Crime scenes. Bodies. Financial records. Evidence of everything Mikhail had shown me 3 months ago. This is who you're living with, Agent Torres said. A killer. A criminal. A man who's using you. He's not using me. Isn't he? You've been living in his house for 3 months. Working at his restaurant. Sleeping in his bed. And I'm guessing he's told you he loves you, right? That you're special? That you're different from everyone else. I said nothing. Men like Mikhail Serrano are very good at making women feel special. But it's manipulation, Chantal. He's grooming you. Making you dependent. Making you complicit in his crimes so you can't leave. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? She leaned forward. You're 24 years old. He's 32. He's wealthy, powerful, dangerous. You were desperate when you met him, drowning in debt, working multiple jobs. He swooped in, paid your mother's medical bills, gave you a job, made you feel seen. Classic predator behavior. He's not a predator. He's a murderer, Chantal. We have evidence linking him to at least 6 deaths. The Baldini warehouse? We know what happened there. And we know you were there. My blood ran cold. We have witnesses who saw you that night. Security footage that puts you at the scene. If we wanted to, we could charge you as an accomplice. She paused. But we don't want to do that. We know you're a victim here. We know he manipulated you into staying. He didn't manipulate me. Then why are you still there? Agent Torres's voice was gentle. Almost kind. Why would a smart, capable woman with a culinary degree choose to stay with a man who kills people? Unless she's been manipulated into thinking she has no choice. I have a choice, I said. And I'm choosing to stay. Why? I thought about how to explain it. How to make her understand. Because he sees me, I said finally. Because for the first time in my life someone looks at me and sees who I really am. Not the struggling student. Not the broke girl taking care of her sick mother. Not the woman who has to be strong for everyone else. He sees me. All of me. The good and the bad and the darkness I didn't know I had. That's not love, Chantel. That's Stockholm Syndrome. Is it? Because I've had chances to leave. Multiple chances. You offered me witness protection last time. And I said no. Not because I'm trapped. But because I don't want to go. Agent Torres leaned back, studying me. Okay, she said. Let's say you're right. Let's say this is real love, not manipulation. What happens when he gets bored? When you get arrested? When his enemies come for you? Then we deal with it. Together. You'd go to prison for him? I thought about Mikkel walking into that warehouse unarmed to save me. About him teaching me the wine business. About the way he looked at me like I was his whole world. Yes, I said. I would. Agent Torres sighed. Then I can't help you. She pulled out papers. This is witness protection. Full immunity for you and your sister. New identities. Relocation. Your mother's medical bills covered for life. All you have to do is testify about what you've seen. I looked at the papers. At freedom typed out in legal jargon. At the life I could have if I just betrayed him. What exactly do you have on him? I asked. Financial records showing money laundering. Testimony from his associates. Forensic evidence linking him to the Baldini deaths. Sounds like you have everything. So why do you need me? Because juries like to hear from women like you. Smart. Sympathetic. A victim who got out. It makes the case stronger. So you don't actually need my testimony. You just wanted to make things easier. Agent Torres didn't answer. Then no, I said. I'm not testifying. I don't know anything about his business operations. I manage the restaurant. That's it. You're lying. Prove it. We stared at each other across the table. When this falls apart, Agent Torres said, when he's arrested and you're facing charges as an accomplice, don't say I didn't give you a way out. I won't. They held us for 6 hours. Then their lawyer, Michael's lawyer, got us released. Their evidence was mostly circumstantial. Their witnesses unreliable. Their case weak. In the car ride home, Mikkel was silent. Tense. Finally, he pulled over on a quiet street. Why didn't you take the deal? He asked, his voice rough. Because you're mine, I said simply. And I protect what's mine. He turned to look at me and there were tears in his eyes. You could have your life back. Freedom. Safety. Everything. I don't want that life anymore. Why not? Because that life was drowning. That life was working 3 jobs and still losing. That life was being invisible. I touched his face. With you I'm alive. I'm seen. I'm free in a way I never was before. Free? Chantal, I'm a killer. I've dragged you into my world. Made you complicit in crimes. You just lied to the FBI to protect me. I know. And you're okay with that? I thought about it. Really thought about who I'd become. I killed a man to save you, I said. I watched you murder someone and helped you clean up. I'm running a business that launders money. I'm not the person I was 3 months ago, Mikkel. Maybe I'm not even a good person anymore. But I'm happy. For the first time in my life I'm happy. And I'm not giving that up. He kissed me. Desperate and relieved and so full of love it hurt. I don't deserve you, he whispered. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He laughed, pressing his forehead to mine. You're insane. You made me this way. I know. Best decision I ever made. We drove home. Back to the mansion that had become ours. Back to the life we were building in darkness. That night in his bed, Mikkel held me close. The FBI isn't going to stop, he said. They'll keep digging. Keep investigating. Eventually they might find something that sticks. Then we'll deal with it. We might go to prison, Chantal. Then we go together. You could still leave. I could set you up somewhere safe, Give you enough money to start over. Mikhail. I turned to face him. I'm not leaving. Not for the FBI. Not for safety. Not for anything. You're stuck with me. Forever. His arms tightened around me. Forever. Forever, I confirmed. In darkness and light. In freedom and prison. Wherever you go, I go. You're the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me, he whispered. And the most terrifying. Why terrifying? Because I'd destroy the world for you. Because you've become more important than my empire, my revenge, my own life. Because loving you is going to get me killed someday and I don't even care. Then I guess we'll die together. Promise. Promise. We made love again. Slower this time. Sweeter. Like we had all the time in the world. Even though we both knew we didn't. The betrayal came from family. Luca. Michael's cousin. The one who'd grabbed my wrist at that first dinner. Who Mikhail had forgiven. Had let back into the inner circle. We were in Michael's office going over restaurant finances when Luca walked in with a gun. I'm sorry, cousin, he said. But you've gone soft. Choosing a woman over family. It's pathetic. Mikhail stood slowly, putting himself between me and Luca. This isn't about family. This is about you being jealous. Jealous? Of what? That you've let some woman turn you weak. That I found something you never will, Mikhail said calmly. Someone who loves me for me, not my power. Love. Luca spat the word. She's using you. Playing you. The second things get hard, she'll run. I've had multiple chances to run, I said, standing up. I'm still here. Then you're stupider than I thought. Luca's finger moved to the trigger. Either way, you're both dying tonight. I'm taking over. The way it should have been from the start. Everything happened fast. Luca fired. Mikhail shoved me aside, took the bullet meant for me. He went down, blood blooming on his shoulder. And something in me snapped. I'd learned from the best. Mikhail had been teaching me self-defense for months. How to fight. How to kill if necessary. I grabbed the letter opener from his desk. Moved before Luca could fire again. Drove it into his throat. He dropped, choking, dying. I didn't watch. Just ran to Mikhail. You're hit, I said, hands shaking as I applied pressure. You're bleeding. I'm fine, Mikhail gasped. Flesh wound. I've had worse. You took a bullet for me. Of course I did. You're mine to protect. He smiled despite the pain. Even if it kills me. Don't you dare die on me, Mikhail Serrano. Not planning on it. Not when I finally have everything I want. I called his doctor. His security team. They came, cleaned up, took care of everything. 2 hours later, Mikhail was stitched up, medicated, resting in our bed. You killed Luca, he said, watching me. I know. For me. He was going to kill you. I wasn't going to let that happen. You didn't hesitate. Not for a second. I climbed into bed beside him, careful of his shoulder. You're mine, Mikhail. And I protect what's mine. His good arm pulled me close. I love you. I love you too. Marry me. I pulled back to look at him. What? Marry me, Chantal. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wonder if tomorrow will come. I want you to be my wife. Wiggly. Officially. His eyes were intense. Marry me. You're on pain medication. I'm serious. I've never been more serious about anything. He cupped my face with his good hand. I almost died tonight. And all I could think was that I hadn't made you mine in every way possible. So marry me. Tomorrow. Next week. I don't care when. Just say yes. I looked at this dangerous, beautiful man who'd taken a bullet for me. Who'd changed my entire life. Who'd shown me who I really was underneath all the fear. Yes, I said. I'll marry you. He kissed me like I was oxygen. Tomorrow, he said against my lips. We're doing this tomorrow. You're injured. I don't care. I'm not waiting. We'll do it here. Small. Just us. His eyes blazed. Marry me in that wine cellar where everything started. Where you first saw who I really am. Where you chose to stay anyway. Okay, I breathed. Okay, yes. Tomorrow. We got married the next evening in the wine cellar. Mikhail had his arm in a sling, but he was there wearing a black suit, looking at me like I was his whole world. I wore a simple white dress. Nothing fancy, nothing traditional. Just us and a judge and the ghosts of everyone we'd killed to get here. Do you, Mikhail Serrano, take Chantal Jackson to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do, Mikhail said, his eyes never leaving mine. Forever. In darkness and light. In violence and peace. She's mine and I'm hers and nothing will ever change that. The judge turned to me. And do you, Chantal Jackson, take Mikhail Serrano to be your lawfully wedded husband? I thought about the girl who'd walked through that bathroom door 6 months ago. Who'd seen a dangerous man and run. Who'd been drowning in a life too small for her dreams. She was gone. In her place was a woman who'd learned to breathe underwater. Who'd embraced the darkness. Who'd found freedom in the most unexpected place. I do, I said clearly. I choose him. I choose this. I choose us. Forever. Mikhail kissed me before the judge could finish. And in that wine cellar, surrounded by bottles worth more than most people's lives, we became husband and wife. Bound together in every way that mattered. I love you, Mikhail whispered against my lips. My wife. My partner. My everything. I love you too, I said. My husband. My home. 6 months later, everything had changed and nothing had changed. The restaurant was thriving under my management. I'd gotten my sommelier certification and was building a reputation in the wine world. The FBI had backed off. Their case had fallen apart without witnesses willing to testify. Imani was at Columbia thinking I'd married a successful restaurateur. Mama was healthy, living in a nice condo, proud of her daughter who'd made it. They didn't know the truth. And I was okay with that. Because I'd learned something important. You can't have the light without the dark. You can't have freedom without first breaking your own chains. I was in the wine cellar cataloging a new shipment when Mikhail appeared. Remember when you walked through that bathroom door? He asked. Hard to forget seeing your boss naked. He smiled. Best accident ever. You planned it. I planned the opportunity. You walking through that door? That was fate. He pulled me close. Best day of my life. Mine too, I admitted. Any regrets? I thought about everything. The violence. The lies. The blood on my hands. The love in my heart. The freedom I'd found in darkness. Not one, I said. He kissed me in that wine cellar where everything had started. Where I'd first seen him kill. Where I'd chosen to stay. Where we'd gotten married. You know what I realized? I said. What? I should have knocked that day. That's what normal people do. But you didn't. No. I smiled. And I'm glad I didn't. Because the girl who opened that door was drowning. And the woman I became? She learned to breathe underwater. In your world. In your arms. In the darkness we chose together. And you've never been happier, Mikhail finished. Never, I agreed. He held me close in that wine cellar full of beautiful, expensive things bought with blood money. And I felt free. Finally, completely free. To be dark. To be selfish. To love a monster. To be exactly who I'd become. Mrs. Chantal Serrano. Partner. Wife. Queen of a criminal empire. And I wouldn't change a single thing.